Hello, my name is Ashley Figueroa, and the example of ageism that I'm going to be talking about today is often seen in social media or just in like everyday conversations, and it has to do with older adults and driving. A lot of speech in cars that I've been in have been like very rude and like, oh, old people shouldn't be driving. After a certain age, older individuals shouldn't have a license. And the impact that this has on older adults, it just makes them think that simply because of their age, they just shouldn't be driving. And that takes away some of their independence simply because of their older age. And they might not have an actual reason to quit driving, but they just believe that, oh, cognitively and physically, simply because you are aging means that, oh, you can't operate a vehicle. Which is definitely far from the truth. And yeah, that does have an actual poor impact on older adults. And personally, when it comes to the word empowerment, I don't believe that it is overused. But what I do think sometimes is that it often is misused. Rather than using it to like describe everyday scenarios that like, oh, simply because you're brushing your teeth at an older age and some other older adults have trouble doing that means that you are empowering. I feel like maybe someone viewing brushing their teeth is not a very empowering thing to be doing. So we can just simply use like different words rather than empowerment to talk about certain scenarios. For example, you can just use encouraging simply when maybe empowering, because that kind of sounds like a superhero term, isn't as appropriate. And then my strategy to address this ageist situation, the particular one about older adults and driving, is to simply spread awareness, like talk about it more in schools or in educational settings, or even just create little posters that are like older adults should be driving, and actually educate them on the statistics of older adults versus the younger population when it comes to speeding and texting or using the phone while driving. And it is actually seen that older adults are safer when it comes to those two things, speeding and using the phone. So simply educating the public on like who gets into more accidents, older people versus younger people. It's actually younger people who are speeding and who are more likely to speed and more likely to be on their cell phone while driving. So just spreading that awareness. And then to empower older adults involved in the situation is to just encourage them to drive. Like if you're driving with somebody that's an older adult, ask them to drive. Be like, offer to drive rather than just assuming that you're the one driving simply because of the age difference. Ask them if they would like to drive. Ask them if they still enjoy driving, or like maybe ask them why they might not enjoy it so much anymore. And if it's just a matter of them not thinking that they can't drive because of their age, work around that and be like, yeah, you still can. But if it's just because they don't want to and then they see like that's a you thing, then obviously those are two different things. But yeah, just like ask them if they want to drive. Don't just assume that you are because you're the younger one. Now, moving on, this is a little bit not off topic, but it doesn't relate exactly to the driving, but this relates to in healthcare settings. I believe that, like I mentioned before, spreading awareness and training professionals, maybe in grad school, that are going into healthcare professions such as physical therapists or nurses or doctors, that they should be trained in what ageism is and what it looks like just a little bit more thoroughly. This wasn't something that I was particularly aware of until I looked into this class. So they should include these units on older adults and actually include them as mandatory for students to get their degrees. We can't often just focus on pediatrics and things like that when older adults should be addressed too. And then these protocols should be reviewed and changed often, just to keep up with the times in these healthcare settings. And finally, I think we should increase patient advocacy programs where volunteers and staff are actually trained in how to support older adults and how they can navigate their own healthcare. So thank you so much for listening, and that is my active learning number 1. Sorry for the stutter at the end. Bye.